Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. Welcome to Hobby Hotline. We are a live YouTube card show, hobby talk, hobby chat, hobby whatever you want to call it. We be that. Uh, Wanted to say good morning to you. Also wanted to say good morning to Mr. Victor. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, Brad, I'm doing good, man. Good morning to you and good morning to our listeners. I got some new glasses this week, right? I paid an extra $112 for an anti-glare spray for computer screens. And what do you think of the anti-glare? You think it's working?
I think you just got them to make
You have the
sure that I
receipt
look
still?
prettier.
I think I got scammed. Is what I think.
Well, that was my next comment.
I find the only way you get an anti-glare from glasses is to do this.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Herman. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
How are you doing?
Welcome to the listeners, and good to see everybody.
Yeah, and then we got a special guest. I'm just going to say good morning to Mr. Conor. We'll do introductions to everybody later. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to talk about this stuff.
It's a pleasure to have you on, and we greatly appreciate it. And, as always, we have the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and kids of all ages out at the sports card shop at MoCo. I want to say, what's up, Max? What's up, Owen? What is going on? And I tell you what, I found this online. I had to throw out some pictures. I had to make fun of your dad, kids. Make fun of your dad. The check is in the mail. The check is in the mail. Well, let's see who's already online this morning. Oh man, we got a Jenny Miller sighting. Yes, B-Rad is running the show at least as much as he can.
Jenny.
As much as I can. And then we got Mr. Foul 5. Good morning. Good morning to you. And then, of course, Baseball Card Trooper. Good morning to you. Salute, salute. And, of course, we have Mr. Gocher. Good morning. And I hope that your kids got to see themselves on the big screen. I'll try to put it on again if they have or haven't that way. And then we got some dude named Bo. What's up, Bo? Good morning. Good morning. So,
Brad, I think I owe Mojo a confession and an apology.
yes, you do. You do. I was going to let
do.
you do it yourself.
To the folks over at Mojo, here's the thing. I just realized this today, but here's my confession. I live 45 minutes away from your shop, and I have yet to visit the shop. And so that's a shame on me here, I feel. And we're going to have to rectify that real quick here with a visit over at the shop. So welcome. Hello. My apologies. And we'll see you soon.
There you go. Confessions of a Rookie Card Specialist. Sounds like a podcast right there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'd like to welcome our special guest, Mr. Conor Walden, to the show. Conor and I'll give a little backstory. So everybody that knows Mr. Eric Norton, the godfather of podcasting, he and I have lunch every once in a while. We were having lunch, and all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, have you seen this website, buysportscards.com?" And it pulled a Scooby-Doo, and I went, "Rrr?" And he goes, yeah, you got to check this site out. You got to check this site out. It's really cool, easy to use, cards to put on, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, he went on for 15 minutes. And usually if somebody goes on for 15 minutes, that's a keyword that you need to actually jump on. So I jumped on, put some cards on, I bought some cards, and I liked the site. I thought it was pretty smooth. I thought it was pretty slick. So I reached out on Twitter and said, "Hey, I like your stuff." And at the same time of starting podcast, YouTube show Tech and Cards, which is technology focused. So I thought, hey, let me see if I can't talk to the CEO, have a conversation with him. And that happened. And it's not just the website. I mean, my opinion, Conor's cool guy. I mean, CEO of, and I want to make sure I wrote it down to make sure that I got it right. So I'm going to be reading for a second. CEO of ECS Automotive Concepts, which is a family, COO of ECS Automotive Concepts, family-owned business with including the extended family, co-owner of Mystic TCG Shop in Chesterfield, Missouri. Got it right. And he started that in July of 21. And then he started in March of 22, buysportscards.com. Oh, and by the way, during all this, he had a child. So he had to be doing monsters, massive, massive amounts of monsters. And I'm going to give him props because he's just hit 2.2 million cards in the catalog.
Wow.
That's insane. That's insane. His growth has been awesome. His site, we're probably gonna give him a little bit of chance to talk about it, but I really wanted to bring him on, introduce people to him because he's kind of a smart guy. So he may be the smartest of the three of us here. So
I was going to say, Conor sounds like a real life entrepreneur, man.
Exactly. So he can speak to a couple of sides, being a card shop owner, being a financial guy and having to be able to run that aspects of it and operation. So I mean, he kind of fits in. So I wanted to make sure that he was at least coming in. Hey, look, we got a Facebook user right here actually knows where Chesterfield is. I wonder who that could be, Conor. I wonder who that Facebook user could be.
Not sure.
And we got Kuderlev who's out there. And then there you go. Your apology was accepted. Your apology was accepted. So I'm gonna give like the floor to Conor for a couple minutes to talk a little bit about buysportscards.com. And I know Herman's got a couple of questions that he mentioned. So the floor is yours for a couple of minutes. I really want people to kind of introduce and know a little bit about it.
Sure. Awesome, Brad. Well, I appreciate the introduction. I'm sure my wife, whether it's listening back or currently is probably rolling her eyes somewhere. She said, she had the baby, not me. But that's awesome. So yeah, I'm the CEO and the founder of buysportscards.com. Really, buysportscards.com is a marketplace where we're focused on making it as easy as possible to buy and sell online. Somebody that not only has a store and has sold cards for a long time, but also a collector. A lot of the sites that are in the market, I felt like were pretty cumbersome, a little bit outdated when it comes to the technology. And so rather than what a lot of the new companies that are coming into the space where they're trying to take technology and force it upon the industry, I wanted to take the industry and my experience and utilize technologies kind of under the hood so that the experience improved, but you didn't expect people to change their preferences, from physical cards to NFTs or different stuff like that. And so we've built a marketplace. Like you said, we're about 5.5 months since our launch. We have 2.2 million cards that have been listed by our sellers. Things are growing very quickly. And we see a lot of people that, share the passion that we have. I always kind of believe that these major pillars of the industry should be run by people who care about the industry and care about the end users. And so this was a project that I actually self-funded. I didn't want to take outside investment from anybody because I really wanted to make sure we could build what was best for the end user. And, maybe it's just kind of my Midwest values, but I really believe that, doing the right thing pays a lot more in the long run. And so rather than, trying to squeeze our users for every penny, we focused on building the best site that we can. And so our marketplace currently has 0% seller fees, and we have now since our launch 5.5 months or so. I think we'll probably continue that through the end of the year at least, and then maybe add a few percentage fees so that we can start to recoup and, expand our team. But things have been great. I think that we provide an experience that's very streamlined. We just released a bulk upload tool where sellers can list up to 1,000 cards in an hour. And so it makes it, really cost effective and easy. And, there's just too many friction points. And, with sites like eBay, things are just a little harder than I think that they should be. So we decided to do something about it.
Yeah, I've used the site. It's really easy. I filled an order last night in, I don't know, less than a minute and a half tops, maybe. I list cards fairly quickly. I haven't used the bulk. Let me do that. So, but Herman, you had a couple questions. I only wanted to give us like a couple of minutes on this to talk, and then we'll do our usual deep dive into all the important topics in the hobby.
Yeah. First off, good to meet you, Conor. One question I had was your payment platform.
Mhm.
Is it PayPal based, or
Yeah. So
how's that structured?
sure. So for all of the buyers that are checking out, we utilize Stripe for the credit card transactions. And then when it comes to sending payouts to the sellers, we use Dwolla, which is like the leading ACH transfer company. And, it's kind of an interesting conversation. I won't go on too long for it. But one of the things that we had decided early on is, did we want to utilize PayPal or not? There's definitely pros to using PayPal. The negative, though, for me as somebody that's a store owner and somebody that's been in the industry for a long time, is when we talked to PayPal, they told us that if we utilized them for payouts, that they would have complete control over whether or not people got refunds. And so for a lot of the things that go on in the industry where players get hurt and then people try to force refunds and things like that, we wouldn't have the ability to be able to protect our sellers from that. And so we decided to use Dwolla. So basically what you do is you either go through a micro deposit, or you can do instant account verification where they link directly with your bank and you can log in through the bank's website to link your account. But we don't store any of the payment information, so I don't have anybody's account number or bank or anything like that. So we're completely, PCI compliant. But long story short, right now, PayPal is not the platform that we're using just because it didn't allow us the defense of our sellers that we really thought was important and necessary.
Now, I like the fact that you're taking the steps to look out for sellers, because that's something a lot of platforms don't do.
Yeah. Yeah, and in every aspect of a marketplace is important. The thing that always was surprising to me, and it's honestly very sad, I think that marketplaces serve an important function, and it's disappointing that a lot of the sites that are out there, the job that they've done is really their users view them as more of an adversary than a partner. And I know that that's big talk, but that's ultimately our goal, is that we want to be an extension that's helping you to sell your cards. I don't want to be somebody that's getting in the way, kind of like, a lot of these sites, I view them almost kind of like the mafia, where they knock on your door, every week, and here's the cut that they're going to take from you. And you're kind of like, what am I really getting here? I feel like I'm getting strong armed. My demands aren't really met with responses or improvements. Really, they're trying to take as much as they can by giving as little as possible so that they can increase their margins. And, it left a bad taste in my mouth. So I decided to do something about it.
Yeah. Real quick, and this won't take but a second, but I heard you mention with Brad that you was working on getting the standardized envelope deal like
Yep.
eBay.
Yep.
How's
Yeah.
that coming?
Good. Yeah. So we actually have a contract in place to be able to do it. So we actually had a seller reach out with a suggestion. They said, hey, here's a company that we're working with. We've actually had a better experience than the eBay standard envelope in terms of the accuracy, with the check-ins and things like that in the delivery. And so, he's like, you should look into this. And so we reached out. I ended up getting a meeting set up with the CEO of that company. And, he was really excited by what we were doing and thought, I showed him the messages from the users and said, this is something we'd really like. We think that it would be beneficial as an offering if people want to utilize it. And so, I expect probably in the next month or two, maybe 2 months, that it'll be up and running on the website. And so we have that in place. We just have to, different priorities kind of getting stuff done, but it's there and we're excited. We're definitely going to have it.
All right. So we got one question from the chat. I want to pose this question, and then we'll move on to actual other topics on it. How does marketing for this website work, and what sites may be posted on for bringing traffic in? And Jenny, that's actually a very, very good question. I wanted to make sure this got asked.
Yes. So, and I guess just to clarify, what are we doing for marketing right now to bring on users?
Yes, and
Okay.
traffic to the website itself.
Sure. Yeah. So one of the biggest things, obviously, is that we're benefiting from a lot of word of mouth. That was kind of the big idea behind having the 0% seller fees. It serves kind of twofold. The first one is it gets people to try our product. And, our belief is that if we do a good job, like we think that we have, and people utilize our site, that they'll see the benefit and they'll want to stay. So rather than them feeling forced to or having a barrier to entry that's too big. And so we see a lot of people coming to our website because, similar to the experience Brad had, where Eric, who's a seller on our website, talked to him about the site and really enjoyed his experience. It's spreading kind of like wildfire through there. We're also doing different sorts of advertisements. We do stuff with Sports Collector Daily. We do banner ads on there. We've done stuff with Cardboard Connection. We run different ads, Facebook, Google, some places like that. And the traffic has really been increasing. So over last month, we had a 74% increase in traffic. our users were up 218 or 220%. So things are growing really quickly. We're getting a lot of people to the site, which is exciting. And, you know, you kind of see the flywheel effect as things start to pick up, it just builds momentum. And ultimately, I think the best thing that we can do for that beyond just spending the money is providing a good experience. And so if we can leave money in the pockets of the buyers and the sellers and they do the marketing for us, I think that's the best kind of advertising we can have.
All right. So
Brad,
thank you. Go
Can I
ahead,
ask one question real quick?
No, you can't. You can ask a question.
Come on, man. I wanted to ask Conor real quick because there just seems to be a litany of platforms out there that are coming out. But when I go looking into them, it seems to just be dealing with high-end stuff. And I'm getting kind of beat up with the high-end stuff. Is this website that you provide this service, is it tailored more for that or what?
I want to answer that one. 20-cent cards. 20-cent cards on there, Victor. 20-cent cards.
What's that mean? What are you saying?
20-cent cards on the website.
Oh, 20 cents. Okay.
So I can elaborate on that. I mean, I think that we probably have, I would guess probably over 1 million cards less than $1 on the website. And that's really, you know, that's a great point, Victor. I think that we talked about this a little bit before we got on here, but there's such an excitement and it garners a lot of interest online is these expensive sales. And there's a lot of companies that are going for the expensive sales because, you know, it's less work to get $1 million sale than, you know, $1 million $1 sales. And there's just so much more data and volume that's required. But that was where we really saw the opportunity. And as somebody that collects cards, typically that are less than $20 or so myself, things that have a lot of nostalgia for me being a kid, I thought that this was a part of the industry that really wasn't getting very much attention. I mean, if you really look at it, the sites that are specialized in this are doing some of these cheaper cards. I would say the last one that popped up was really ComC probably 15 years ago or so. And then you've got, you know, Sport Lots and Beckett Marketplace, and eBay does a little bit of everything. But I thought that there was a lot of opportunity for this. And this is ultimately where we really felt like there was a great opportunity for us to be able to go after these lower end cards because that's where most of the market is. I mean, eBay has said that the majority of their sales are happening between $5 and $15, but nobody, you know, in the hobby has really seemed to take interest in going after that. And, you know, I think that's a really important part of the hobby, and there's more people there than anywhere else. So we want to help.
Exactly.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So did you get your question answered about the 20-cent cards that are available on there? So earlier this week, I was watching, of course, Bo bought a pallet of cards again. And I actually, Jenny, I had this question marked down to ask myself. So you beat me to the punch, but I kind of want to get, you know, Victor's thoughts on a Wander Franco rookie card, true rookie, found in a Goodwill pallet already. So I would love to hear your thoughts about that as well, Mr. Rookie Card Specialist.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the Wander Franco issue, right, has been an issue for since 2021, October of 2021. I do consider the one that Bo found in that pallet that is a true rookie card of Wander Franco. It's a 2022 Topps rookie card, but the concept is, you know, was it placed there as a attention grabber, or was it set there for on accident? Was it? I don't know. You know, that's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah. We think Mr. Herman, about you watch Bo consistently. What do you think?
It just goes. I mean, Bo kind of tracked the value of the card from release date down to, I think, a couple of months after, and watched it steadily decline. I mean, it goes back to, you know, what's been said before, that a lot of people want the higher value rookie card or cards, period. I mean, the 22 Topps base card is not going to be his most valuable card anyway. So a lot of people will just look at that as a common.
Bo.
But I was wondering, did he find that with a bunch of other packs with, or was it just like that single card that was in there? That's the part I'm missing.
I don't know. I don't know, Connor. You got anything? I mean, any comments about that? Found it at Goodwill. I want to make sure you at least get a second to say anything.
Yeah. I think that kind of goes back to some of the conversations that a lot of people in the hobby have been having about kind of why people are buying cards and what they're interested in. And to be honest, it seems like sometimes the manufacturers are making stuff more for the hype. And then if you look at the cards that kind of the average consumer are looking to buy, they're pretty unextraordinary. I mean, there's not a lot there, and you never know. I mean, maybe that was stuff that some kid whose parents were moving out of the house and they just put it in a box and threw it away. I wouldn't look too much into it, but I wish that there was a little bit more done with some of these lower end base cards. I mean, it just feels like they get more vanilla each year.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Let's catch up on some hellos. Korean Cardboard. What's in the house? What's up?
Hey, Dan.
We know. This is the breaks. Good morning. And then thank you, Eric, for joining us and taking time out. Mr. Kamikaze, good morning. And I think that we're all caught up on that. One of the questions was we should talk about the Alvarez and 19. What I think he's talking about in specific, but I wanted to show that is this one right here. This 12.6 million. I haven't commented on it. Victor, have you commented on the 12 million yet?
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of old news at this point. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. But
true.
Yeah,
but I wanted to give everybody at least a minute to just.
Yeah, I'm just glad they put it up for auction and didn't call it a rookie card at this point.
Wait, that's not a rookie card?
Here we go.
I thought that was a rookie card, Victor. Herman, you got anything that you want to say?
Not really. I mean, it is what it is.
It's been beaten like a dead horse. So
yeah,
I wanted to at least make sure we
talking about it was a good bit.
All right. We'll beat that dead horse. So let's go into something that I wanted to talk about. And there was a conversation by Colin Cowherd and Michael Rubin interview, and one of the most interesting aspects that I like about Fanatics and that I like about Fanatics coming in is the ability of them coming in with a different vision and a different look. One of the comments that Michael Rubin said was that only 1% of their marketing budget is in total sales in our industry. So I'll try to word it a little bit better. In our industry, within the entire spend or within revenues, only 1% is spent in marketing, which is advertising or anything like that. Which, on average, you're looking at on the low side, 10 to 15% is what a company in any normal other industry is expected to fund. So 15% to 1%. His best comment was, even if we elevate it to standard and people are getting treated like trash now, if we just elevate to standard, how many more people are we going to have into the hobby? What are y'all thoughts around them actually dropping money into advertising and dropping money into support and growth? Herman, you're a pure collector. So what do you think about them actually advertising and getting Braves cards harder to get or more accessible to get?
Well, I wouldn't say it would make it harder to get. It's more accessible, yes, because the more people you have coming into the hobby, it's like if you got people that's buying boxes and putting them on the shelf, that makes cards hard to get. You got people buying boxes and open them, take what they want out of them, and the rest go out to the market. I mean, so and just the sheer fact of, like you said, putting getting the word out to people that may not hear about Tops or Fanatics. Well, I mean, everybody's heard of Fanatics, but just the fact that the cards are out there. I mean, there's some people that come up and they don't even see them until they're 12, 13, 14. And then by that time, most guys, there's girls and then there's boys for the girls or vice versa or whatever. But other things take place. But if you can advertise for some way of getting a younger generation in earlier, I think it's a good thing.
Mr. Victor, what do you think?
Man, I don't know. I think right now it's all speculation. It's hard to really tell. I think how will the hobby respond with Fanatics marketing scheme? I do know they do have, the means. They do have the platform, the name brand, the deep pockets. They got everything it takes to make it happen. Now, how it will affect the hobby, I guess time will tell. I think things are going to be a lot higher produced, in my opinion. That's the only logical way that they can make the hobby grow. Print runs are going to grow as well. So there's going to be there's going to be good and bad in the situation. And, there's going to be some pivots and some adjustments that we're going to have to make as collectors to kind of find our lane in this new way of doing things. And, but to pinpoint, and speculate, this is exactly how it's going to all come out is kind of early in the game to really determine.
Well, what's really interesting is Fanatics has just signed. I don't know. I subscribe to one of the business news sites that is tied to sports, and one of the really interesting things that came out under the radar is that Fanatics just signed with the Orioles the rights to be able to put a true card shop in the Baltimore Orioles stadium. So you just said that, and I'm like, oh man, it just dropped. I think Monday of last week or Tuesday of last week, that news just dropped. So I think that's awesome. For me, that's the first step, is putting cards more accessible into the place where the kids are going to be, which is stadiums. Now, we can all get into the price of cost of and developments of and the expensive of how expensive it is to go. Conor's about to, he's about to experience that himself. But we'll go back. Conor, what do you think about that, about the expansion and the advertising and all that entails?
Yeah, so I think there's two things, and I want to pass it back to you guys to kind of elaborate on what you think about this. I think Fanatics is doing what they probably should do, because there's obviously a hesitant and skeptical market now that they've gone into, and they're a little bit on uneven footing where people are worried. So they don't want to be too specific. And by saying things about like this, people can kind of interpret it the way that they want to, and my question is, okay, if they're going to be advertising, what are they advertising? How are they advertising cards? Is it going to be advertising breakers? Is it going to be advertising the cards themselves? What are they going to be putting the money behind? Are they going to be creating influencers and pushing things that maybe some people on the panel will like and other people may not like? Like Victor said, only time will tell on that. The other thing is, a lot of the reason why I don't think a lot of the advertising has happened is because the margins have been so tight in the industry. And the way that they're going to be able to generate that 10 to 15% margin to spend on advertisement is by cutting out a lot of the middlemen. And that's the distributors, and maybe that's some of the hobby shops. And so, it's a complicated issue. And it's going to be interesting to see, does the benefit of, maybe cutting out some stores, which have basically been the advertising arm for a lot of shops. Some of them have done a good job, other ones haven't. So I think it's going to be interesting. I really hope that they do a good job at threading the needle here, because I think that it's a lot more nuanced than a lot of people talk about and think about. And I hope that we don't get into a situation where 5 or 10 years down the line, we see some of the things and say, wow, I wish we, get rid of all these commercials online. I'd rather have, a hobby shop within 10 miles of me. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, this is my idea of how to respond to that. I mean, you've got it during the player lineup. You've got, here's a QR code that goes straight to a website or goes straight to a Fanatics. And by the way, here's the platform's website. And I've long contended that they've missed the opportunity during this attentiveness of online, live production to be able to do something, to do types of advertising. What do you think about that, Mr. Herman? While you're watching the
What
Georgia,
you got? Say what?
while you're watching a Georgia football game, getting the ability to have a QR code to buy a card.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. And just like the example you had come up there, I mean, that also kind of displays at stadiums too. So I mean, it's every opportunity you take what you can get. I mean, you see advertisement all around Major League Baseball fields, and none of it is. I mean, you see Fanatics, but none of it's geared toward trading cards or anything like that. So I mean, that's a good opportunity that you just showed there.
What do you think, Mr. Victor? What do you think? What other types of avenues?
Well, what are they doing currently with their other products? I think that's going to be they're going to follow suit. I like the card shop thing, right? I'm wondering why is the QR code coming back? I mean, that is really old technology.
That's why I put it out there.
You see QR codes everywhere now. Again, I don't get it. That's what they're going to do. QR codes.
Hey, you don't have my artwork. I see how you are. Or just something like that. Something like that. Just during the player lineups or MLB.com or MLB 2024 video games.
Yeah.
Or anywhere where you've got that ability to tie in. It's extreme, but youth baseball leagues or college baseball, or I mean, there's so many different venues, and then include the local hobby shops for tie-ins. How about joint marketing with your local card shop to be able to promote the card shop, the hobby, and the card and the teams? I've long said that we need to have that type of tie-in into the big companies and the grassroots, as Conor was mentioning, to be able to have that particular tie-in or that particular growth within the hobby, especially if they're wanting to go that fast and grow that side of the hobby. You're going to have to do some innovative type of stuff and some out of the box thinking, which I think is why it's good and bad to bring people that aren't associated with the hobby into the hobby. You've got, we were talking about this before, you've got Michael Rubin who had his vision, and then you've got Josh Luber, who's a collector. Rubin wasn't a collector. So how is that going to balance out? How's that actually going to play out? Well, you've got different ideas and different trains of thoughts. Well, if they come together well, and you've got a vision officer and an actual operations guy or a business guy, I think hopefully, knock on wood, you get some sort of a meld, for lack of a better phrase. So, hey, Conor, what do you think about having that balance in there?
Yeah, I think the balance is important. One of the comments, I guess, Cooter mentioned, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of, where I used to get packs, and the cards that have the most memories and nostalgia for me, because like I've told you guys before, I collect 2004 Upper Deck Power Up. It was getting those packs at Quick Trip, which is a local gas station convenience store here. Going to Target with my mom on Saturday, to get groceries and school supplies and other stuff, and stopping at the card aisle. And so, I think that we need to get it into places that are accessible for people. Minor league baseball games, I'm not sure what the attendance is like at a lot of those places. And so I think that it's going to be important to see what Fanatics does with the distribution, because if they start to cut out the Walmarts and the Targets and put it on fanatics.com, what's the odds that a kid is, it's different. I don't know. Times are changing. It's going to be very, very interesting. And it's going to be really important the way that they choose to advertise and market cards. Is it going to be about collectors? Is it going to be more of the gamified breaking aspects? And ultimately we'll see.
Yeah. And my concern is because we kind of saw this type of growth in the late 80s, right? Where everybody and their grandma was collecting sports cards. Sports cards were found everywhere and anywhere. But the problem with that 10x growth comes 10x print runs. And that's the part where, as collectors, we're going to have to start wrapping our heads around that concept and perhaps find pivot and find different things that we can do, whether it be inserts or whatever, autographs or the multitude of other options that we have. But all in all, the total print run is also going to 10x, and it's something that we've seen in before, and the outcome wasn't very good by the time we got to the early 90s.
Yeah, this is actually pretty good. Way too many types of products, way too many color variations. I mean, we've seen products get cut this past couple of weeks. Just literally get cut. So I agree with the streamlining and the parallels and whatnot. I just hope that they're balancing. They're not actually just saying, okay, we're going to cut some of these classic like heritage. I would be hurt if they actually cut.
I mean, we even have some insert cards from the early 90s that are serial numbered to 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And those are like a joke nowadays. But back then, it was like, wow, only 5,000 of these were made, you know?
Well, look at the Donruss Elite. They were numbered to what, 10,000?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I thought that comment was an interesting comment because this is a hard problem. I mean, if you look back at the 80s and 90s, they were mass producing the same base cards. And now, you know, here's the options I see. Either you have a lot of the base cards, you have lots of new sets and variations, or you don't have enough product and the prices go sky high on wax and other stuff. And if there's more people in the hobby now, there's a lot of cards that people want. And it's just very difficult because it's like people don't want base. They don't want all the colors, but it's like they have to find some way to make millions of cards that are digestible for people. And if they don't, then the prices of the cards in the wax goes up. And then we get a lot of people who I think should be in the industry cut out of the industry because it's too expensive. And they're really trying to juggle a lot of different things here.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Instead of showing picture on the Jumbotron when a batter comes up. Yeah, I agree.
I like that.
Go something. Yeah. Just go different. How about a picture of a rookie card with the stats?
Debatable. That'll be.
Yeah. Can you imagine just showing the the 87 versus 85, and then Victor being there just getting all riled up at the All-Star game? Rookie card.
You'll cause fights in the stands.
Yeah.
Being part of I know this is old news, but I kind of want being on the hobby shop side. Conor, what's your thoughts about them cutting distributors out, them trying to go into the middleman? And we talked earlier about the experience at a hobby shop. What is the experience at the hobby shop? I guess that's two questions, but I'll stick with one and just do the. What are your thoughts as a hobby shop owner of them cutting distributors out?
Yeah, I think just like everything else kind of in the hobby, everything's really complicated. And my worry is throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But there is a lot of information about, some of these distributors being nefarious about the way that they've basically become retailers themselves, that they get allocated this much and they'll only sell this percentage to stores and then they hold the rest of it and then start selling it out the back door. They have shell companies that they're basically selling through and that doesn't help anybody besides their pockets. And so, I think that getting rid of some of those companies may be beneficial for everybody. But in the fact that where it hurts stores from getting access to product, that's something that really worries me because I think a lot about, I have a son that is about to turn 10 months old. And I think a lot about how would I bring him into the hobby and the experience that he has. And with everything going on to be, breaking online and nobody actually touches the physical cards ever, whatever else, I'm not sure how that experience will resonate with kids of today. I know that it was really important for me to be able to walk into stores, open packs myself, get the smell of the cards, sit there and just look through them and sort them and do things like that. That built the relationship. So I'm hoping that, getting rid of the distributors doesn't have down chain effects where now it makes it harder for kids to get stuff and makes it less accessible. Now it's, becomes like these shoe auctions online that are bots and whatever else. so that they can sell out within a second, I don't think that really ends up helping the average customer.
So this is an interesting point. I've been going back and reading comments. Baseball needs to market the game and grow the popularity and wealth and watchability of the sport. Then the hobby will expand organically. All right, flip it to football, where you've got football, and then you've got the idea of people dropping off packs. I saw it earlier in the comments. People dropping off packs of cards underneath the seats unexpectedly, or around baseball card stadiums, or around the stadiums in general, and just actually promoting. What we're more talking about is promoting the sport and cards to different hobby. What would you think about that in like a college? You went to TCU. I mean, that's a huge college school, huge football school. I mean, what would you think about them dropping off cards and hiding them throughout the stadium?
Yeah, I think that'd be really interesting. I mean, ultimately, the best thing that we can do, and kind of what I'm hoping to do with buysportscards.com, is bring new ideas and bring new possibilities of ways of doing things. As much as people are worried about the Fanatics and some of these other things that are happening in the industry, there is a lot of things that people are frustrated with and that are outdated. And so I think ideas are good, and it's going to be really important. And probably the most important thing is not only the community voicing their opinions, but the companies in the industry need to listen to people and what they want in some of these ideas. And some of them may work and other ones may not. But for a long time, there's kind of been the opinion that, there's a few people in their ivory towers and they know better than all of us. And I think that's kind of gotten us to the point where a major shakeup maybe was needed because people for a long time didn't listen to what we had to say. And so I'm hoping that Fanatics and some of these other companies that are coming in start to listen a little bit more to what people want. And there's a lot of good ideas that are out there. People just need to try them and we'll see what works.
Yeah, I mean this is actually a pretty good point of, the breaks sometimes drops off repacks at a baseball field for little kids, soccer too. I mean, just that reach out and making that more accessible. I had planned on, and I'm actually in the process of doing it. I signed up yesterday to sponsor a football or a baseball team, a youth baseball team. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to the local hobby shop, not to online, not to any place, but the actual local hobby shop, and buy particular products from that hobby shop and give that away to the youth team, because I think it's so important to introduce that constantly to the youth. And I hope that we can have more grassroots type stuff to do that. So I just think everybody needs to get more into it. So that's all. That's my thoughts. So
Think about it. Back in the mid to late '80s, they actually made mini set team sets, local team sets, police issue, and they give them to kids on the street. Some of the kids might not even watch baseball, and then they give them a pack of cards. You spark their interest in two different ways: one in baseball and one into the hobby. So.
Yeah, one of the things that I've done is I put out there a comment of the day for some football cards right before I put a contest out for that. I'm going to go with Cooter on this one. I'm going to go with Cooter on this one. So Cooter, hit me up on Twitter DM, and that's yours, baby. That's yours. So that's my comment of the day right there.
I'm just picturing half these parents already starting fist fights at these little league games. Could you imagine a bunch of grown men going to get these big hits, fighting at these kids' game? Oh man.
And then then you got it all plastered on all sorts of the news and whatnot. We say youth baseball because in the heart we're all baseball fans. So you insert youth football or here we go. Yeah, put the stuff in food and beverage. There you go. Just go back to that.
Yeah,
go back to that.
That's a solid point. Cereal boxes, absolutely.
I'm a big fan. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the food. Bring back the food stuff, please.
That's how I started.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah, and John, I agree and disagree to it needs you need to actually integrate everything. It doesn't need to be about one, two, or it needs to be integrated, especially if you're going to try to grow the sport or grow the sport of baseball and grow the hobby. Because let's face it, the kids aren't really digging into 3.5 hours of a pitcher's duel. I mean, for me, give me that. I'll take a pitcher's duel and a chess match any day of a baseball game. But
You're
I'm a
old.
little old. I'm old. I'm old. I like that. Yeah, and enjoyed a home run, but I enjoy small ball because small ball wins world champions. It's not the long ball. Otherwise, the Rangers would have won infinite number of championships by now. So go ahead, Victor. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I was just. Are we gonna? Do we have another topic to bring up or?
We do. We've got several topics. I've just
Oh,
been
okay.
trying to. I mean, let's go to the Brady Ball. Unless you've got something else you want to talk about, Victor.
No, I just really I wanted to talk about something that you're really passionate about, Brad.
Go ahead.
And I don't know. I know you're big time into supporting or against card shops that are getting broke into.
Yes.
And I know that topic is dear and near to your heart. I don't know if you caught an article that came out a couple of weeks ago about a card shop in southern Florida. They got broke into, and the camera footage that they showed actually showed the thieves trying to break this glass with a sledgehammer.
Yes. Yes.
And they swung at this glass 30 times and could not penetrate that glass.
Yes.
And when interviewed, it's because the card shop is in southern Florida and the glass is called hurricane glass.
Mhm.
And they could not, them guys were giving it all they had, man.
If you don't have it, if you haven't seen this video, you need to watch this video. I'll find it and put it in the show notes. But they've got a sledgehammer and they are just playing whack-a-mole with this thing, and it will not. And I'm just sitting there cackling at this video because I know what's going on. I know exactly what's going on, and it's okay, guys. I'm like attempt number 5, it doesn't happen, and they keep going. I mean, that's persistence, man.
The first guy got tired, then he went to go get his buddy.
Oh my gosh, yes, it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely hilarious.
But they interviewed the guy after the fact, but he was saying that hurricane glass is extremely expensive.
Yes.
And so it might be a good deterrent for card shop owners if they can absorb the cost of hurricane glass.
Well, we've got a store owner here in play, and again, I'm big on partnerships. So I'm big on partnerships. So Connor, I'm gonna let you comment on this one real quick.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to see the video. I think that'd be hilarious to see, though, from what you guys have said. I don't know. It's hard because it seems like more and more there's just so many expenses associated with running a store. And it's sad that people are, once again, this is a hobby. I think somebody had mentioned before kind of about the digital versus the physical and bringing people together. It's supposed to be a hobby that brings people together. I mean, you start out with kids coming in, and then when you go to these shows, it's so nice. You have people from all walks of life that have a shared and common interest, and you can kind of put the outside world aside. And it's sad that you've got grown men breaking into places and trying to get these cards that are, meant to be positive influences in society and to bring kids in and kind of get them off the streets and focusing on being a part of a group. And so, between, having to now get cases with hurricane glass and get all these new cameras and other stuff in the store, now minimum wages at the shop where a lot of the workers and stuff just keeps going up. Distributors are disappearing. Margins are getting worse. There's a lot of reasons why I think that it's important to support local card stores when you can, because they provide a pivotal part of this hobby. And so it's sad. I hope that stores that can do that, it'll be a deterrent for people breaking in. But unfortunately, I think that we should, if anything, try to go after the root cause here and figure out a way that we can prevent people from getting that crazy about this stuff.
Yeah, I'm feverishly in the background looking, trying to find it. I will share it, Jenny. If I had found it quick enough, I would definitely have played it. I would have definitely played it because I think it's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, we got Pokemon cards being put in happy, and they're redoing that.
Yep.
So that was actually, I saw that it was actually pretty cool to do. Um, Anything else y'all want to talk about? I mean, we've got the Brady Ball coming back. You've got that actually coming down where if you can believe it, Brady's last pre-retirement touch. So it's the last touchdown football is back. I think it's fairly interesting that it ended at 50,000 last time, or no, I'm sorry, 140 last time, and this one's only at 25K. So the Brady Ball's back. What do you think about Brady Ball being back there, Herman?
I'm trying to figure out. Um, I thought Brady bought it from the guy that actually won it.
Nope.
It's kind of yeah. I'm coming back. It's not going to be my last one, but sorry. Here's you some NFTs and some crypto coin.
Well,
No, I did. I thought I was under the set, and I must have misread something somewhere. But I thought that he had purchased that ball from the either the person that bought it or from the auction house for the price it sold for.
No, they just canceled it for you. Victor. Do you recall differently?
I recall a plea being made to Tom Brady to absorb that cost. But I think Tom Brady said, no. I think that's how it went, but I could be wrong.
That's true. That's true. Well, I know that we've got a giveaway that we got to do. I put it out there as well to just to people that kind of like something. I wanted to do something a little different, something a little fun with the show. So people went back and they did like and subscribe and commented on a previous episode and all that entailed. And Herman's going to help me out. He's actually going to run this 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 contest, but it's for at the National, Victor. They were giving out these samples.
Yeah.
So it's Mike Trout. Why not give away a Mike Trout card?
There you
So
go.
Herman and I got together earlier. We did the actual, like, hopefully we can get this done. It's live TV, people. It's live TV. So if we kind of take a second to
Raw and unedited.
purely raw and unedited. So you ready to go, Herman?
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go. So we've got the names, and then you want to announce the names. Let's see. The names are Ziggy No, Dak T-Man Fan, Rick Acosta, Zach and Porter Pounder with Cheese, and Greggy. So that's who commented.
How did you generate the list?
So the list were people that actually commented on the actual show. So I went back and grabbed all them, and I made sure they were subscribed and all that entailed. And then I pulled that list and gave it to Herman. So we'll make sure that we'll throw it out there. So
Love it.
So I guess you want to determine how many times you want to randomize it first, right?
Conor, pick a number, any number.
4.
All right, 4.
Live TV.
Make sure I got everybody. Ziggy, Dak, Rick, Zach and Porter, and Greg.
Got it down.
4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dak Mac.
Woo! Mr. Dan Ryan's the winner. Mr. Dan Ryan's the winner. So I'll make sure that I get up with Mr. Ryan. Make sure that gets taken care of. Make sure it gets taken care of. And then one of our own actually is holding this weekend a card show. This is what I was trying to. If you were going to be in town tomorrow, Connor, he'd hold a small card show in support of his Jewish synagogue, and you know, wanted to at least show some love and at least get some out there. It really just wanted to kind of support. If you're out in the area tomorrow, stop by and say hi to Rich. Make sure you stop by and say hi to Rich.
Mhm.
Different hours. It's Sunday and Monday. So if you're out and about in Texas, want to go to a card show, make sure that I give total props. Total props. Where is Zach and Porter? Where's Zach and Porter pounder with cheese? So yep. So here we go. I wanted to say that, and then we got a couple minutes left. Next episode, Tuesday, got Mr. Baseball Card Collection, Yam Wax, and Ryan Nolan. I knew I was going to do that. And then next Saturday, you got me, John Keating, Chris Harris, PSA Hall of Famer, Matt King NASCAR. Wanted to make sure that I'd let everybody know what was upcoming on the schedule. I'm going to check these comments here. Any last comments? I want to make sure that we get last comments in. Herman, what do you got coming up for the actual week?
I've got a whole lot of nothing going on. I'm going to enjoy my holiday weekend and let it carry on into the week and take some time off.
You doing anything special?
Cards and finishing sets.
Anything special you and your wife are doing, or?
She's working.
Oh man, not fun. Not fun.
Well, we'll have Labor Day off, but they got it. So
kids coming over. You actually going to do some barbecuing?
That's tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Victor, what you got going on this weekend?
I got more of the same. I got my kids coming over on Monday, but yeah, I got. I'm working on my next video. It's going to be, well, I don't want to give it away just in case I don't get it done. But I'm also going to be looking out for an article that I'm going to be releasing on my website, truerookiecards.com. It's going to be a comprehensive checklist on every card produced of Juan Soto in the rookie year of 2018. So I've been working on this article for several weeks now. I'm getting close to finishing it, and looking forward to releasing it and making a video on it as well.
So it's going to be a 12-hour video, and who's publishing the book? Who's publishing? Have you got a publishing house for the book yet?
I'm working on that too. Yes, sir.
Mr. Conor, what do you got coming up this weekend besides being in the location you are?
Yeah. So we've got some exciting stuff coming up with the website. We have some new features that we're working on. So, these long weekends are good for us. Some of our people have other jobs as well, so able to pick up extra hours on developing. Really excited. I think that we're going to make a big push here in this last 3 or 4 months of the year. A lot of new features coming out. Like I said, the eBay standard envelope type thing. I think that we're going to do something along the lines of kind of the BSC bucks, where you get money back for making purchases. So we've got a lot of exciting things, a lot of work to be done, but I think that it's going to be great. Like I said, I really do love the industry. We're making great progress. I would say, if anything, anybody listening, feedback for our site would be really important. Feel free to check out buysportscards.com, sign up. We ultimately want to improve the experience for collectors. So that's really all I'm going to be focusing on for a really long time, is just to continue to improve our site. We got a lot of things ahead of us.
Yeah, you can give out how people can reach out to you, because I know Jenny Miller, once she gets a hold of your 50 bazillion messages, and it'll all be in fun. How do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can send me an email at Conor, which is CONNER at buysportscards.com. And feel free to shoot me anything over, whether that, honestly, I prefer criticism, if anything, just so that we can continue to improve the site. But yeah, any ideas for things that you'd like us to have or ways that we could improve would definitely be appreciated. So feel free to reach out.
Yep. So I appreciate everybody spending their Saturday with us. I know it was a little rough. It's going to get every episode gets better. I appreciate it. Conor, thank you so much for spending your busy Saturday with us. I really appreciate it. I hope people learned something, because that was one of the things that I really wanted to do, was bring people on so that they could learn. Thought we'd have a little fun with a couple of contests. I'm going to be running one for next weekend as well, so watch out for that. Those contests are coming up. I'll do a little bit more promotion, get some more people out there. But hey, it's all fun. It's Saturday morning. We're talking baseball, football, and sports cards, man. How bad could it actually get? That's all I want to know. Have fun in the hobby. You do you, boo. I got it in. Everybody, have a fantastic Saturday. And Max and Owen, you have my permission to harass your dad. Take care, everybody.